podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Sunset Ruins are playing the Indie Showcase London event at the Dublin Castle in Camden, Saturday the 5th of September 2026. Tickets just £16.50. Get them by ctickets.com, ctickets.com, and check out Sunset Ruins on Spotify, Amazon Music or YouTube.
Achtung Millwall. Broadcasting from beautiful South Bermondsey, it's the number one Millwall podcast. Accept no substitute.
Hello dear listeners, welcome to midweek cup action here at the Abbey Stadium in Cambridge. Lions obviously the visitors tonight in this second round game following that fine penalty shootout win back there at Loftus Road. Seems a long while ago all of a sudden, doesn't it? That four save victory for Lucas Jensen. The Lions obviously qualified for round two. Here we are in Cambridge. Next round being the entry of the main Premier League sides, I believe. It's a strange old structure, the Carabao Cup, the EFL Football League Cup, as was once known. Your Lions starting lineup tonight is a mystery one. We've got all change. Alex Neil did say that he would have a rotation from Saturday, so some of these are going to be guesswork in terms of formation, dear listeners. Max Crocombe's in goal tonight. We've got Jordi Osei Tutu, I imagine, on the right back side. Jake Cooper and Danny Batt as the central two. I am guessing Elkan Baggott, I believe, plays on the left side, so that's going to be Osei Tutu, Cooper, Batt and Elkan Baggott. Midfield two tonight will be Dan Kelly, and I'm going to take a punt on Alfie Massey. In truth, listeners, as I'm speaking to you, I don't actually know where Alfie Massey plays. I've not seen him at all, so I'm going to put him into the midfield two. In front of them, the attacking three will be Reece Bangura-Williams, Luke Cundle and Zach Lovelace. Up front tonight is Lyndon Dykes starting, so it's all changed from Saturday. The substitutes bench is quite something to behold. There are names here from the reserves, so we may get to see some interesting choices tonight. Zach Sturge, Joel Coleman as the reserve goalkeeper coming in regularly. Jensen Metcalf star of the show on Saturday versus Norwich. Mark Sykes, another star of the show. AJ Matthews on the bench. Archie Kirby. I don't know Archie Kirby at all. I haven't seen enough of any of these players. Sasha Sugita Vieira. We have some exotic old names down the den these days, don't we? Don't know anything about these players. And Tristan Parks. Names that I have no knowledge of whatsoever. Do you, listeners? You've got the beating, or maybe you should be running the podcast if you do know any of those boys. But it's going to be an interesting evening. It's a beautiful evening here in Cambridge. I've driven through the city centre. It's lovely. It's not really a football town, though. I get every sense it's not exactly one of football's hotbeds, but there's a decent enough crowd in here tonight. The home end looks quite tightly packed to far end from our away section. The side stand looks reasonably full, and half of the Greater Anglia stand opposite me is the Hobbin stand. Not the Hobbit, the Hobbin stand is closed off for fear of the rampaging Millwall fans. We've brought 1,400 here tonight. It is a beautiful summer's evening, lovely pleasant weather, so we're awaiting the entry of the two teams. This is, of course, I'm forgetting the familial affair. It's the Cambridge United, of course, managed by club legend, iconic figure, fit both playing-wise and management-wise, in my opinion, Neil Harris. Management after coming back to rescue us from relegation. Was it 2 seasons ago, prior to the arrival of Alex Neil? An iconic figure in club history, but he is managing Cambridge United tonight. It's going to be very strange to see him, as the opposing figure tonight. But he'll be wanting a win, so do we tonight. We want to progress in this competition. Here come the two teams tonight, listeners. Cambridge in amber and black. Looks like the Lions will be in their dark blue with white stockings tonight, dear listeners. All you colour nerds out there, dear listeners. It's a small ground, quite tightly packed. Not quite non-league, but it's not far short of a non-league level. 4 floodlight towers, which is nice to see. Means you can see the approach to the football ground from wherever you parked up from some distance. Nice to see. So the second round, the winner of tonight's game will go through to the third, logically, which I'm checking is a round of 64. The fourth round is a round of 32, and then you're down to the quarterfinals, the 16, 8. Well, no, the quarterfinals is the 8, and then semis and finals. So there's making progress if we get past this tonight. Yeah, Lions in their dark blue with white stockings tonight. A lot of the online voices raving after that performance at home to Norwich on Saturday, rightly so. And a lot of these players might be looking to stake a claim in Alex Neil's plans. It's going to be Cambridge to kick us off. They'll be attacking the away end in the first half. Lions will be attacking the home end. Kind of a disco, Woolworths disco lights effect on the side stand as I look. Not for the away fans, but for the home fans. I'd be for it's not, listeners. Away we go. Strange pitch. It looks like they play rugby union here as well. I don't know, listeners, but certainly the pitch is about 10, 15 yards distant from the away end. It looks like it's much closer to the home end, probably by design, but it's quite a gap from the byline, the goal line to the away fans anyway. Jake Cooper is the only holdover from Saturday. He will be conscious of his appearance record. I think he's got Harry Cripp's record in sight now. A few more appearances and he'll pass it, which would be some achievement. Lovely skill there, Race Bangura Williams, listeners. Beautiful ball through. Lyndon Dykes is chasing leftwards now. Just a slight deflection there on 6 minutes. He cuts inside. Oh, he's hit the crossbar. Wow. Nice work. Lovely sway inside there, Lyndon Dykes. He's come to the Academy of Football here, isn't he? He must be adding layers to his game as a consequence. That was a beautiful sway inside. Nice shot from the left side of the penalty area. It hits the crossbar. 7 minutes into the game. Stadium joins in the Super Nil chant. This is Alfie Massey. Cundall. Edge of the penalty area. He has a shot. It's bobbled. Bouncing around. Oh, a point blank save there. I think that was from Dykes as the ball ran loose. Tipped over the bar. Superb work by the goalkeeper. That last chance there, listeners. 8 minutes. In comes left side corner. Bouncing around. Oh, he's hit the crossbar again from melee. Couldn't see what. Tell you what's happening there. There's 1-0 Millwall. Poked home there. Who is that? Cooper? Right down the far end. Can't tell you. It's 1-0 Millwall. 8 minutes in. I think that was Jake Cooper hooking in a loose ball. He'll play some really nice football there, listeners. Continuation on from Saturday's performance. Yeah, I'm sure that was Jake Cooper hooking in a loose ball from a melee. 10 minutes gone. Lions leading. So far, so good. So far, so comfortable. Applause for the subs warming up. There's AJ. Some of the new boys, 51, can't remember. That's not very well prepped, is it, listeners? Don't come on this show if you want professional level identifications or XG tables and the like. A couple of loose and lax moments from Alfie Massey there. Ball just getting away from him. He's given away free kicks twice now in a quick succession. Free kick then for Cambridge. Halfway centre in the Millwall half. 21 minutes, coming towards the halfway point of the first half. It's been pretty much all Millwall so far. Cambridge have had a bit of possession in recent minutes, but nothing to show for it. At the moment, tempting the football gods, I'd say comfortable. In comes this ball though before I incur the wrath of Hera. Ball falls edge of the penalty area. That's going to go rightwards for a goal kick. Cambridge on their left side. Ball into near post, taken in comfortably enough by World Cup star Max Crocombe. Very strange walking down to the ground tonight, listeners. It's quite rural, green and leafy, Cambridge. And you actually I walked across a cattle grid. There was a herd of cattle on the other side of the road. And clearly they must move the cattle from time to time on non-match days, I would imagine. And you have to pick your way through some cattle manure and over a cattle grid. Very different to the den, I can tell you that much, listeners. I think the ute in front of us are bored, throwing their baseball cap around. Hijinks. 34 minutes, game's gone rather quiet from the Millwall perspective. I suppose that's the modern day attention spans of the ute. Can't handle that, can they, listeners? This is Massey, halfway line. Mill spreading the play rightwards. This is Tutu. Cuts inside, so a lovely little run there. Cross was blocked. Some lax passing, as you might have gathered from that comment, listeners. There's an offside against Zach Lovelace. 38 minutes. The Lions have rather gone off the boil after that early bubbling start. The early goal from Jake Cooper separating the sides as we go into 38 minutes. Increasingly the game has drifted a little bit as it's gone along. Cambridge have gained a bit of confidence. Haven't really threatened any danger. But Lions haven't really shown much going forwards in turn. So a few words perhaps at half-time from Alex Steele to place a rocket up their arses for the second half. Cambridge have identified Massey as skillful, but comparatively lightweight at this level. So I think he's been pushed off the ball a few times, and I think that's their tactic with Alfie Massey. Rough him up a little bit. Cambridge again, a lot of Cambridge possession as the half's worn along. Without any danger at the end of it. Let's hope it remains that way, because they've come into the game, in fairness to them, as it's progressed through the half. This is the 11. Just outside Mill Pettigrew. We're on the right side as we look. Chipped in. That should be headed wide. Their first chance, I suppose. The two headed it wide, about a yard wide, gently. No real danger there. There is half-time, a fairly routine half. Millwall going an early goal ahead from Jake Cooper. Early energetic start. Lyndon Dykes hitting the crossbar as well. They've gone off the board a little bit as it's worn along. A lot of possession for Cambridge. But that one last moment there was their only chance of the first half. So it's half-time. It's Cambridge United 0, Millwall 1. Teams are out for the second half, dear listeners, after what was an increasingly drab first half. So for a bit of excitement in the second half, eh? 1,400 travelling fans from Millwall deserve a bit of excitement. Ground in complete darkness, illuminated by the floodlights now. A bit of a chill in the air. Away we go. Lions get us underway. I would imagine that Alex Neil's half-time speech would involve picking the pace up a little bit from Millwall. We started with some energy and vim in the first half. This is Zach Lovelace. And we looked superior, but as we've taken our foot off the petrol, it's been more even. This is Massey, this is Cundall, he's trying to find Kelly now, but wayward pass, giving Cambridge a chance to break now. 48 minutes, left side of the Mill penalty area. It's a 7, more centrally, will he ever go? He will, but it's a wild as the wind kind of shot there, listeners. And Cambridge now coming down the Mill right wing. 51 minutes. It's a 7, jinks into the Mill penalty area, ball into the middle. Oh, it was on target. I thought for one moment it was gone in the net. It was a ball clipped in from the right side, clipped onto target, but Max Trogan was equal to it. A bit more of an open start to this second half then, listeners. The service into the forwards, forward, this is Dykes tonight, but also Lovelace. Hasn't been terribly good as the game's gone along, listeners. This is the 7 for Cambridge, breaking forwards on 58 minutes. Still just that one goal separates the two sides. That's a throw in, yeah, Cambridge, taken quickly. Massey back doing well there.
This is fucking holy.
So finally a chance for this three-way substitution. Obviously Tutu's coming out for Sykes. He's played well. Been a poor game overall. Good early start, but from the team I'm talking about, listeners. But Tutu's done okay for me tonight. In comes Sykes, one of the stars of the show. Jensen Metcalf, of course, is. Negley coming in for Lovelace. Jensen Metcalf, how could I not recognise him after all that raving that I did about him over the weekend? A second goal will seal matters for the Lions, I feel, but we've not really shown any danger of that since that early flurry that resulted in the opening goal from Jake Cooper. We've not really shown any real danger going forward, so I imagine Alex Neil would like to get this settled and put to bed tonight with those three subs. The ball takes a rebound there. It's going to go through to Max Crocombe in the event. Cambridge trying to scuffle and make it ugly down that far end of the pitch. A minute or two short of the halfway point of the second half. Thankfully, Lions do lead it. You would want to be on the downside of this game. It's been progressively poorer and poorer as it's worn along, but at the moment, Lions are in the driving seats. They've got to stay switched on in defence. Ball down the left flank. That's going to go for a corner. Cambridge. 73rd minute. Left side corner in Cambridge. The home fans whipped into a frenzy by that move down the left side there. In comes the corner. It's a deep one. Ooh, far post. It was hooked away. I think that was Bangura. Looks like Bangura Williams has gone down in that challenge over there. If it's cramp or he's got knocked or something, listeners. We can do without more injuries, can't we? AJ Matthews comes in for Bangura Williams, I think it is. Long ball forwards, nodded on by Dykes there into the path of Matthews, who took a clump. Referee gives nothing. Ball into the middle. That's headed away from Dykes. On 80 minutes. I nearly said Dykesy there, listeners. It's become the familiar already. Do I have the right to call him Dykesy? You tell me. The over-familiar tone of the upstart podcaster. Fans filing for the exits. I think it's been a pretty mundane match overall, listeners. Can't blame anyone for wanting to get the early train back home again. Hasn't exactly been a glittering, jewel of a game like Saturday's was. Thankfully, the early goal from Jake Cooper has given us enough breathing space to be reasonably sanguine about it, but otherwise it's been pretty average to poor by Millwall tonight, in my opinion. Allowing for the fact it is has been largely a second string 11. This is Matthews. Can't get it into the danger area, just runs ahead of him there. Goal kick. Bouncing around, free kick. Didn't see what that offence was. Free kick on the edge of the D, central. It was probably about 25, 28 yards out. Central though, listeners. Chance here for Cambridge. They can get a shot on target. That'll be their first desire, wouldn't it? Looks like they're free to take. 90 plus 2 now. Here we go. The three strikes it. On target, easily enough for Max Crocombe, as you would have detected by the yelps of joy all around me in the away end. Long ball forwards, it's almost run through to Dykesy. He hassles the goalkeeper, but nothing doing there, listeners. Cambridge spread play to the left now. It's a chance to break into the penalty area. That's a lovely block there by Mark Sykes, listeners. Negley brings away. Matthew relinquished possession very cheaply there. Giving the ball back to the amber. He barges him over. Free kick on the edge of the penalty area. It was rather naive by AJ Matthews, I would say, listeners. He was heading rightwards. Barged over. Free kick on the right side of the D. Rush of blood to the head by the young man. This may be last chance saloon for Cambridge. Dead ball situation, ideal. They've got a nice angle on it. People debating who we might get in the next round. I think we've got to get through this one yet, listeners. We've still got 2 minutes of the allotted 6, plus anything else that the referee might deem appropriate. And a dead ball here. Shot into the walls, deflected right for a corner. Goalkeeper's gone forwards. Last chance saloon for Cambridge. In it comes. It's into the melee and high into the Cambridge Knights, listeners. They're doing a good job of retaining possession. Millwall entirely behind the ball here. 90+5 showing now on the stadium clock. Great tackling back. I think that was Camille Negley. Ball rightwards. This is Matthews. There it is. Referee blows for full time. The Lions progress. Let's just say that. It wasn't the greatest game. Wasn't no classic. That early Jake Cooper goal being enough to separate the two sides. Finishes here at the Abbey Stadium. Cambridge 0, Millwall 1. Sunset Ruins are playing the Indie Showcase London event at the Dublin Castle in Camden, Saturday the 5th of September 2026. Tickets just £16.50. Get them by ctickets.com, ctickets.com, and check out Sunset Ruins on Spotify, Amazon Music or YouTube. Well, dear listeners, that was a tough watch last night, recording these words Wednesday morning in the wake of Millwall's 1-0 win in the Carabao Cup second round there at Cambridge. As you will have gathered from my live stream of consciousness, there was very little in the way of action after that initial 15-minute flurry to open the game, in which we looked pretty good. It was very much a second string 11. I'm just reading a really interesting Dan Marsh Substack article this morning. Do check out Dan. He's on Substack at Dan Marsh 92, and he makes a very good point about the gap, the huge gap that's opening up at Millwall between what we might call the first choice 11, and that will include a lot of the injured players, the likes of Kramer, Doughty, Ivanovic, and the rest. And the depth of the squad. Last night's 11 was obviously I don't even know if it's a second string, in some cases probably third stringer 11. It did enough to get past Cambridge. They never really threatened much until late, a couple of dead ball situations. They had a lot of scurrying around, as you might expect from a League One outfit. It's a very small, tight stadium, very strange ground actually. It's in kind of a rural setting. You have to approach it down a cattle track across a cattle grid, picking my way through cattle manure en route to the away end, but that's their setup. And I thought the overall performance was probably what you might expect from a championship side looking to go to a League One side, get a result and not come away too scathed, or not or come away unscathed. Can you go away scathed? I don't know. But yeah, good article by Dan. He does make the point that some of the lesser light players, I'm talking about the likes of AJ Matthews, to some extent I would suggest Race Bangura Williams, who wasn't bad but wasn't brilliant. Zach Lovelace wasn't bad but certainly wasn't brilliant. And so on last night, none of these players would have done much to put themselves in the forefront of Alex Neil's minds as first choice players as the league season wears on. So how they'll shape up in being placed into the first choice 11 should the occasion demands, we'll see. But yeah, it was certainly a grim old watch. Let's have a quick listen now to manager Alex Neil after the game, and then we'll listen to Glyn Horner. So first up, Alex Neil, and then Glyn Horner.
Obviously pleased we're through. I think these games are never easy. Obviously made pretty much wholesale changes to give lads sort of some game time, some minutes. Thought there was some strong performances in there. Thought we started really well. First 15 minutes, I think we hit the bar twice. Probably should have scored maybe 2, maybe even 3 goals in that period. They then matches up. It comes a little bit of a battle at that stage. We then change our shape again second half to make it sort of strategy v strategy rather than man for man sort of duels, if you like, all over the pitch. So, and then naturally they're losing the game. They go for it. They're at home. They get the crowd behind them. Feed off the corners, free kicks, set plays, and we've got to defend those moments, which we did. I think just probably a little bit of composure, maybe a lack of quality in certain areas in the final third, just to sort of get that second goal for us. But all in all, pleased with the lads. And I was saying to them, you're not going to play well every single game. And I didn't think it was a bad performance. I thought we started brilliantly. I thought we seen it out really well. We did the sort of messy parts of the game that you need to do well. Pleased.
Hello, Nick. Glyn here. So, following the game against Cambridge United last night, an odd game. I mean, I understand fully why we made the changes that we did, and I totally agree with that. And I was quite intrigued in Alex Neil's post-match that he said he was using it for some of the first-team players as a training session for them because they'd had to take a couple of days off for recovery, which makes total sense. And actually, the first teamers that came on did look the business, and they looked a level above, didn't they? I'll start with the positives. I think really lively. Dan Kelly, Luke Cundall, and Elkin Baggott. I think they all look pretty good. I think Baggott at left back is interesting because I know there was potentially some contention there between whether or not he could play the role, and I think he looked all right. And I think if push comes to shove, if our usual left backs aren't available, then he could possibly step in and fill a role, and who knows, he could become the left hand side that we've got on Tristan Crammer, big tall centre back converted to full back. So I was quite impressed with him. I thought Dan Kelly looked really lively, had a touch of class about him that was lacking elsewhere on the pitch, and I certainly would like to see more of Dan Kelly in the first team. And then the tried and trusted troopers, Dykes, Cooper, and Cundall, who I think all put in a decent performance, and they also look ready, I think, for more first team minutes. And I'll start now to nail my flag to the post. I think Dykes was a good signing. Initially, I was unsure, but the more I see of him, the more I think he's definitely got something to offer. Now, to the disappointments, really, and this gives me no joy to say this, but really disappointed in what I saw from Massey and Bart. I mean, the two guys, their first touch was horrendous. Often giving ball away, often getting caught in possession, often not looking composed on the ball. I think Massey improved in the second half, but just did not look like anywhere near technically good enough, I think, to be playing in Championship football. And then the other two were AJ Matthews and Lovelace, and I'll give Lovelace a bit of credit because I think the supply to him wasn't great. Luke Cundall was doing his best to link that midfield to the attack, but it was largely dysfunctional, I think, at times. But both Lovelace and AJ Matthews very guilty of wasteful passing, giving possession away way too easily, and Matthews almost gave Cambridge an opportunity for an equaliser when he gave away that free kick at the end. So really not seeing anything from those four to make me think that they're anywhere near ready to step near the first team, which is unusual because obviously Bat was quite a recent signing, and being a bit of a seasoned trooper, I would have thought he would have been a slot in at any level. So there we go. It is at the end of the day a win, and it is at the end of the day only a League Cup game. So we don't need to get too worried about it. But certainly, I think our first team doesn't have anything to worry about based on what we saw today or last night. Anyway, on to the next game. Come on, you Lions.
Great stuff, Glenn. And earlier on, of course, that was Alex Neil. Some great comments. I'm not going to name any of the names on this WhatsApp group. There's some great reviews of last game. One says here that AJ Matthews looked like he'd won a competition to play a game for Millwall, and he did look a little bit lost out there, the boy. There was a late challenge which conceded in what could possibly have led to an equaliser. Very dangerous position free kick. Thankfully, Cambridge weren't up to the mark. It was a very naive challenge. He'd lost the ball earlier on and had a rush of blood to the head, which is the way of the young man, but it certainly wasn't going to endear himself to Alex Neil. Alex Neil's comments prior to that, we did the messy parts of the game well, said Alex Neil. Yes, that's true. I thought defensively we certainly contained Cambridge last night. It was not a classic, listeners, as you will have gathered. by now, and you will continue to gather for the remainder of this show. It was no work of art for the purists out there, these purists that we constantly talk about. A training session game, as Glyn said. Yeah, that is the Carabao Cup's role in the game. A couple of reviews of the game from unnamed sources. You know who you are, though. Hard to put that game into words, says one. Other than it was a game that happened. It was a classic end-to-end cup tie with no action, no goal-mouth threat for 75 minutes. 22 men were kicking a ball around for 96 minutes. Yes, all of those points are true. We actually started quite well, I thought, last night. I thought we were in for a bit of a treat in the away end. I was sat in the equivalent of birdshit corner, in the corner of the away end. But it soon went off the boil. I think once we got the goal, I haven't seen the goal back yet, listeners. I'm doing this slightly from memory. It looked like Jake Cooper hooked the ball into the net from close range, from a melee. Earlier from that, Lyndon Dykes had beautifully hit the crossbar, lovely body sway, and then shot from the left side as I was looking that hit the crossbar. I think we touched the woodwork as well after that. So we, as Alex Neil I think said, we should have been a couple of goals ahead. The fact we weren't is again cause for mild concern. It was only a Carabao Cup game. It was it was a third to second string 11. And to be frank, it looked that way for the bulk of the game. But there we are. Glad I went. Nice to get home afterwards, though. Let's have a listen now to Jamie Mack and Mark Willoughby.
Hello, Nick. Jamie from Victoria, Australia, giving you a call after the 1-0 victory against Cambridge. Started off all right. I thought they moved the ball around well. A few good chances. Lyndon Dykes a nice curling 25-yarder, or outside the box anyway. Crashed against crossbar. Then we had the crossbar another couple of times. Cooper deservedly got the goal. And we looked quite good. I thought we looked as if some of those players could fit back into the first team. However, once we scored, it all sort of petered out from both sides, really. It was a bit of a snooze fest. I think kind of it was Cambridge's almost second string as well. And I think our guys pretty much knew that they weren't going to score the goal. And everyone kind of gave up. I think a few of the players, Finch players, could have done a bit more to try and stay a claim. Thought Kelly played a few interesting balls and had some nice touches, but not outstanding. But overall, we were playing a Neil Harris side. Neil Harris knows how to set his team up. He spoils. He readjusted his team a bit and probably broke the flow up of our play. And that's what Neil Harris does. So, was it a good game? Well, for 7 or 8 minutes, yes. Are we glad we're still in the cup? I think so. Keep momentum going. But if you didn't watch it, you didn't miss it. Anyway, come on, you Lions.
Hello, Nick. Mark Willoughby. Just a very quick voicemail after the Cambridge game last night. I went up there from the city after work and met up with the rest of the gang who had driven up earlier, so they were already on their fourth pint. Nice pub called the Green Dragon by the river. So I had a quick beer with them and then we went over to the game. Very pleasant evening. Sat out there and very well supported contingent from the Lions. Won't dwell too much on the game. Obviously, it was a second string. I think in summary, we went at them till we got our goal, then largely sat back for the rest of the game. They made a couple of forays down the wings, but our defenders dealt with things very comfortably, and Crockham wasn't called upon very often. And we saw out a 1-0 win. I think that there wasn't anyone particularly that staked their claim for a first team place. Kundal was active in the first half and trying his best and trying to control things, and so fair play to him. I think he was off the ball a bit in the second half, gave it away a bit, and The only other player to mention was Lyndon Dykes, who I was quite impressed with. I was in the camp of, I think it's a good signing. I think it's a step up on Langstaff, and as a sort of replacement off the bench, and I think he'll be useful in teaching the young players how it's done. So I was pleased to see him getting involved, good attitude, and I think when probably knowing us, we have injury problems, he can come in as a decent replacement. Other players trying hard, RBW, although he went off, so I don't know if that's another injury or just a precaution. But a sort of jobbing win, and back to the more serious matter of the league on Saturday, when the first teamers came on in the middle of the second half. It was apparent the quality went up a notch, so we look forward to more of the same against Southampton that we've had in the first two games on Saturday. Come on, you Lions.
Fantastic stuff from Jamie in Australia, Victoria. Lovely unsolicited beer shot that Jamie sent on our group chat as well. Made me very jealous there, Jay. And also for Mark Willoughby there. It was a pleasant evening. It was a lovely... I drove through central Cambridge, not a place I've been to that often for various reasons. I've never been through it. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Not a football town. It's obviously a university town of some repute and world renown. And you don't get any sense that it's any kind of football hotbed, but what a place, and what a lovely way to spend an evening sat in the pub. The pity the football had to intrude with the bulk of the football. We did start quite well, as Mark has said there. I do agree with you, Mark, about Luke Cundle coming into the game. I thought he looked like he wanted to claim a first 11 position. He had that kind of buzz about him. He wanted to showcase himself there. I'm not sure he did enough to make that his place, but he was showing the desire, and that's all you can really ask for from a player. And I agree with Jamie that Danny Kelly was okay. There was one flick on the header where he got clattered early in the second half. I think Dykes caught a nice flick header on, and Danny was overlapping him. Got balked by one of the defenders. That was, for me, probably the moment that caught my eye the most. I thought he did okay. He won't let you down, Danny, but I'm not sure. Again, as with Luke, they're going to be players that come into the game off the bench, I think, rather than claiming at the moment, based on current form, what we've seen so far this, the early games of the season. Both are bench rather than starters, I would suggest to you. The other interesting point that I picked up from Mark Willoughby there is Lyndon Dykes being an upgrade on Macaulay Langstaff. I like Macaulay Langstaff, listeners, don't get me wrong. I thought he was a very willing runner and striker, but he's doing okay now, I believe, at Salford, and that's probably the level for the boy. But he gave everything he had to give in a Millwall shirt, and again, we will always respect that, I think, at the Den. But Dykes does look like he is an upgrade, and I think that's an interesting point that Mark has made there, because he wasn't particularly dangerous, wasn't well served last night, in fairness to him. He did produce that lovely body sway and shot in the first half that hit the crossbar, and he's clearly an intelligent player. I think on our group chat, Neil Andrews has made this point a few times. He was a bit of a controversial signing, wasn't he, around the Millwall scene, but based on what I've seen so far, coming off the bench, not a starter, I don't think, but coming off the bench, certainly not in front of Josh Coburn, but coming off the bench as a replacement when Coburn is expended for a game. I think we have upgraded our forward line. So good stuff there. I'm going to take a short break now, dear listeners, for some advertising, and then we'll come back for our final two messages from Rob Woodford and Rob Abbott. So stay tuned, dear listeners. Sunset Ruins are playing the Indie Showcase London event at the Dublin Castle in Camden, Saturday the 5th of September 2026. Tickets just £16.50. Get them by ctickets.com, ctickets.com, and check out Sunset Ruins on Spotify, Amazon Music or YouTube.
If you need On Nick, Rob Abbott. Morning after Cambridge 0, Millwall 1. Happy we progressed into the next round of this competition, albeit a lot of our fan base, I don't think, want us to go on a little cup run. I actually don't mind it. And in the next round, if we don't get a real big team, home or away, I'd like us to draw no disrespect, a Fleetwood, a Walsall or a Reading at home, where we can continue this cup run potentially. Loads of changes last night. I thought we'd done a professional job. First 15 minutes, I thought we were very good, very lively. Lyndon Dykes were really unlucky, hitting the bar. Shot very similar to what Arrivederci had last year, towards the end of the year at West Brom away, curling from the right foot. We hit the bar from a corner. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Danny Batt. But look, we were very good the first 15 minutes. Deservedly got the lead. Nice little goal by Cooper on the turn. Then the game turned into pre-season vibes for a lot of it. Loads of subs made by both teams in the second half, early in the second half. And look, Cambridge had their towels up in the last 10 minutes, but purely that was down to they won set pieces, but they didn't really threaten. I think Crocombe made one save all night, but a really professional job done. Standout players for me, Luke Cundall played very well, which I would expect of him to stand out when he's put into a team like that. Dan Kelly, I thought, did very well, and Baggett looked pretty good. Desmond at right back, I thought started very lively and looked good on the attack. But then, some of the so-called first 11 come onto the pitch. I thought Sykes was very good when he come on. Negley, they just saw the game out, didn't they? But overall, job done. We're into the next round. A good few of those players last night, I felt, were in the shop window to potentially get loan moves, but not really too sure many of them impressed that much. Bangura Williams started well, like the whole team did, but then didn't really feature and just drifted out of the game. Lovelace, I'm not too sure. I think he was better on Saturday when he came on against Norwich. Alfie Massey, I thought, was very, very poor in the first half, but grew into the game, so fair play to the young lad. But they're three guys that I've just mentioned that I think we need to go and find them clubs and get them out on loan and play them regular football to see how they develop, etc. But look, overall, we're into the next round. Another clean sheet, and on we go. Now it's all focus on Southampton away, which is going to be a tough test for us, but let's hope we can carry on this fine start to the season and see what happens.
Well, Nick, that was more like a training ground session, wasn't it, compared to the high energy and intensity of the Norwich game on Saturday. There were lads there put together who had never played together in match action. And considering that, I thought we had a good night. More minutes in the legs for squad players. No obvious injuries. Into round 3 for another game for the squaddies. Luke Cundall, the standout player on the night, pulling the strings in midfield, looking for runners in the channels. And peeps who think that Zach Lovelace should go out on loan. Well, I'm not sure about that because, while Ivanovic is out injured, he's going to have to be around. The boy is still developing, only 20, remember, and has missed so much being out injured for so long. A loan might happen for Alfie Massey in the next few days, in my opinion. But some interesting new names on the bench last night with Archie Kirby, Tristan Parks and Sasha Sugita Vieira, I think. Anyway, nice touch from the gaffer to get some of the under-18s involved with the first team. But back to the more important league programme before more midweek League Cup action. And there's 6 full-on fixtures now before the international break. Starting with those cheating bastards down on the south coast. Come on, you Wall.
Yes, indeed, Rob. I'm going down there Saturday, down to Southampton. I'm sure that will be a subject mentioned at some volume by the travelling Millwall support, the Southampton spying scandal, of course. Great stuff there from Rob Abbott, and then followed by Rob Woodford. There was indeed a pre-season. I mean, both of the boys there, pre-season vibes, I think Rob Abbott said, and Rob Woodford said training ground kind of quality, and with the under 18s that he mentioned, very true, very true. I actually don't mind the idea of a cup run. I think people online often say get it out of the way and concentrate on the league, but the practical reality is that with our first choice 11 largely picking itself, we do need to keep some of the lesser lights interested in starting games. So, I include likes of Max Crocombe, Danny Batt last night, others, Elkan Bagot. So a cup run, a Carabao Cup run, will be useful in that sense. It's I can't believe I'm actually saying this, listeners, that Mill's squad needs to be deepened and kept finely tuned, ready for the first team who have been playing brilliantly in the 2 games we've seen so far this season. So I agree with Rob. I would actually keep Zach Lovelace, certainly until our forward line is a little bit more settled and fit. He wasn't brilliant last night, but he wasn't that bad either. I'd say the same about Reis. I suppose the shame of Reis is the tumble that he's taken when he first came on the Millwall scene. I think we're all expecting the next Romain Esse, who also has slightly tumbled, I suppose, has he? So maybe these players are part of a long Millwall tradition. And I'll put it to you, dear listener, there's a long line of players that shine at the Den. It is their theatre. It's where the stage upon which they perform the best. And all of the players, I think, like to think of themselves as going elsewhere and shining bright on the bigger stage, the more glamorous locations. But some players just are best at Millwall. Just on that very point, there was a great photo of Femi Aziz and Tristan Kramer, both dressed up looking like James Bond at the PFA dinners. They both have been awarded places in the team of the year, the PFA team of the year. And that will obviously add value to both boys. Femi has been the most talked about transfer. Still, as far as we know, there are no formal bids for him, but that must change as we get closer to the deadline day, which I think is, they're advertising it on Sky TV, their deadline day coverage, which I think is next week. And the same for Tristan. I mean, again, he will be attracting attention. Rightly so. Both have done very, very well for us. That will govern what other strengthening can take place for the Millwall squad. It will push down the likes of AJ Matthews, who looked a little bit like a lost and lonely lamb that wandered from the flock outside in the fields, outside the ground last night and fallen into the cattle grid that I mentioned earlier on. But minutes in legs, as Rob has said. We do progress. Next round is the 3rd round, which we're into, which is a round of 32. And I think we're joined there by 9 Premier League teams who are involved in European competition. It's quite a cockeyed draw. I think they have to draw the European teams, qualified teams first on the draw tonight, and then they draw the draw afterwards. God knows how they're going to do it. One other point just to close us. Carabao was a high-energy soft drink. Did you know that, listeners? I've never actually had it myself. But interestingly, they've done some research into their market, and I see that they've broken out into Thai lager now, so you can get Carabao lager, which is much more like it. I don't know what it tastes like though. We'll see. I want to say a big thank you to everyone for the contributions. It was a tough old watch last night. We do progress in the Carabao Cup. I'll have a check for Saturday as when we were last this far deep into the competition. I'll have a look. Been a long while. The only progress I can think of as I close this show are quarter-final appearances, and that was in the late 90s, Swindon away, if I remember rightly. And then back in the 70s, I remember going to watch Norwich City in the League Cup quarter-finals at the Den on a school day, because it was during the miners' strike and there was no electricity for the floodlights. Going back a long, long time there, listeners. But there we are, enough reminiscing from me, Nick Hart. That's the show. Thank you for listening. Arrivederci Millwall. See you all at Southampton Saturday. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Achtung Millwall. All profits from our show benefit the fabulous Lions Food Hubs, helping families in the SE16 area. Until the next show then, it's Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Who do you want to watch?